So when we talk just about India, you have a lot of projects, a lot of partnerships here. What are the on-ground partnerships in India which are creating opportunities for women and initiated by L'Oreal?
Yeah, so we have worked, indeed, I had the opportunity yesterday to visit some of the projects, so I can give you a little bit a first-hand overview. So there are programs where we work on supporting young women to get trained as beauticians, so women from underprivileged backgrounds, in order to have job and skill training. We have a lot of programs around women and climate. So we have supported the C40, which is the climate organizations of big cities in the world, with a mentorship program in order to train and empower climate leaders in the city of Mumbai. We have also done another initiative on the visibilization on making women climate leaders more visible through social media campaigns in order to allow them to connect and be visible. And we are also working on resilience in rural communities through ecosystem restoration, or through agricultural practices that allows them to adapt to already changing climate conditions for them. So a lot of programs supporting women to adapt to climate change, to propose solutions, and to be visible in the climate action field.
Okay, that is very interesting. So when we talk about bringing about this change at your level, you are overlooking the entire, I would say, the project to ensure there's inclusivity, to ensure there's sustainability. When these changes are made, or when you try to meet these changes, can you talk about some of the challenges? Because at least that can be kept in mind as to this transition is not easy, but it's a must, right?
Yeah, so I think, of course, it is quite, so we are very lucky at L'Oreal to have had CEOs and the board who are very convinced of that necessary sustainability transformation. So I think there is a lot of leadership within the company. I think sometimes if you ask me what keeps me up at night, I think it is more when I look globally at the world and at economies and governments and companies. I think a lot of them have understood that things need to be done, but the question is, are we doing it fast enough? Yeah. And in the moment, it looks like everybody, we are not going fast enough. We have to go faster if we want to avoid the worst consequences of climate change. And let's not forget, this is really about us and about human suffering. So if we want to avoid the worst climate consequences on us, we have to move faster. And so that is probably what preoccupies me most.
There's a lot of conversation happening around it. On one side, we're talking about sustainability. Then on the other side, we also have, I would say, a lot of investment going on the other side, I would say. Like, there are equal contributions made on both sides, the fossil fuel side and on sustainability side. So as you said, it has to be faster in order to ensure that we meet our goals. Yeah. The last time when I was looking at the new project that you had launched, it was L'Oreal for the Future. And there were some of the goals that you had put out. It was 100% of plastic, which will be used by 2030, will be recycled and recyclable, bio-based ingredients, which will be sustainably sourced. You said around 60% of it is achieved. So do you think it'll be before 2030 that you'll be meeting all those goals?
No, definitely not. I even think that there might be some goals in 2030 that we haven't completely achieved, but that is not a problem. Because even I think if we would achieve everything, I would see we were not ambitious enough, because we defined this target in 2020 and is a vision of complete business model transformation. So some things we will achieve earlier, some things we will achieve on time, and some things we will achieve perhaps a little bit later. But the really important thing is, are we doing this complete transformation which should lead to an inclusive and sustainable economy for all of us? And I think so that is really important. So every year we report in our annual report on our progress in a transparent manner, and so everybody can see on what issue we progressed a lot, on which we are doing a good job, on which we have to go faster. But I think what is really clear is that now this is becoming a new model of doing business everywhere in the world. And I think what I hope is that others will do it with the same intensity, with the same speed, because we don't want to be alone in this. Nobody wants to be, facing climate change. It's not about being the most performing company facing climate change.
Yes.
I want us all together in performing against climate change.
Collaboration is the way to go here.
Exactly,
it has to be.
on this assurance.
So these are longer term goals, 2030. You are on path to achieve them as well. And of course, you're doing more. What would the near term priority for you be right now?
Yeah, so the near-term priorities are, actually it's ongoing, every year. So we have the roadmap in 2030, this is our target, and every year we have to achieve the next step, in this road. So we are working very hard on the packaging issue. So I think refill and recharge is a really huge issue for us, because that means that consumers have to change behaviors, and it's not so easy, because we are all used to an economy, unfortunately, where there is a lot of waste. So we all have to change our habits. So we were working very hard on this. For 2030, that would be 23, that is a very, very strong priority for us. Make refill and recharge happen everywhere. Of course, also more and more succeed to inform consumers about the environmental footprint of products and how to change, make the hair salons our partner, work with them to reduce their environmental footprint, living wage for our suppliers. So it is a lot, but we are really pushing in all the directions to make the new model work.
Okay, very interesting. So when we are talking about, and you said sustainability is just not climate change, it's how the environment or the living conditions are. You are a beauty brand, and the beauty standards have been changing. You are focusing a lot on inclusive beauty. Tell us more about it. How have things changed over years, and how you as a brand have you positioned yourself when it comes to that?
Yeah, so I think that as societies in general, we all have evolved to understand that there is not one beauty standard. Beauty is a lot about how you feel, how you are valuing yourself and valued in society. And I think now what is very clear, and what is definitely our leitmotif, it is to value the diversity of beauty in all its form of diversity. And so that is a very, very strong part of who we are and who we want to be. And I think that is a change that happened in the last 30 years, actually, that I could feel that, when you're from your young years to now, how much that has changed. So I think to respond to the diversity of beauty needs in the respect of cultural differences, in the respect of individual differences, is really our reason to be.
Okay. And coming back, of course, to all your focus on sustainability towards climate change as well. Since the time you have become this person that you are in terms of the position that the CEO of Foundation L'Oreal and Chief Corporate Responsibility Officer versus when you were the Chief Sustainability Officer, there has been some time to that. Have you seen globally some change in how actions are taken by companies or governments, and is that enough for now for us to ensure that at least next 10 years are okay for the globe? No. Oh, okay.
Very clear.
That's an emphatic no from you.
Yeah, that is very clear. So no, I think, and that all science reports are very clear about that. We are all going too slowly. Consumers, individuals, governments, companies. So everybody has to accelerate in that change. I think. What has changed in most places in the world is the level of awareness and also the sense of urgency. I think before 2015, people very often thought it is about protecting the planet. And in 2015, with the Paris Agreement, people understood, well, actually, it's not about the planet, it's about our own survival. If we do not have ecosystems that function as human species, we won't be able to survive. So I think that was really a tipping point in 2015, 16, 17, where people suddenly said, okay, it's not about protecting the planet, it's about my own survival. So yes, there are measures taken, but all international reports, the UN, all scientists tell us we are not going in the right direction. We have to definitely accelerate, and that comes back to to your question before, yes, what has to keep us up at night is how can we accelerate the changes that are necessary.
So that should be the focus point in COP28 as well, you think? What should be the big thing that they should focus on?
Acceleration of non-fossil fuel energies and solution, decarbonization, biodiversity protection, interlinkage with biodiversity protection, and of course the question of inclusive societies, you know, because people have to eat in order to protect the environment. And so it's our responsibility to bring these two issues together.
Alexandra, thank you so much for joining us on CNBC-TV18, explaining to us what Foundation Loreal's plans are and what sustainability really means in the real world, right? So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, with that, it's a wrap on this special edition. Stay tuned to CNBC-TV18 for more news and updates.